3.5, 4 years ago. I left my job, didn't know where money was going to come from. I don't really want to go back to working for somebody else after taking the plunge, you know what I mean?
Family businesses can be tough.
They can, but we make it work. We're a pretty good team. So.
That's good. Is that a chuck on a chuck? Nate's got a steep driveway, and how the heck do you get machines up here?
Very tricky.
Hi folks, welcome to another shop tour. I didn't have to go very far for this one. We are in Heath, Ohio with Nate from
Imperial Machine. We're a general machine shop. We build automated machinery. We do machining, fabrication.
What I like is it's another example of a younger person that's in the trade, and you got into it through your father, if I'm correct?
Yep. My dad started back in 1985, so I pretty much just grew up in it my whole life.
You guys are on three-phase here, or do you have to do the converters?
So we have a phase perfect.
Holy cow, that's a huge one.
Yeah, so that's a 30 horse.
Okay, and that runs everything just fine?
That runs the entire shop.
That's awesome. Nate's got a steep driveway, and you're effectively in a residential kind of area, if you will. No problem getting material deliveries?
No, we use Alro and Benjamin steel. Pickup truck or straight truck, no semi.
How the heck do you get machines up here?
Very tricky. The Haas machines that we have them delivered to our rigger, and then they offload them at the rigger, and then we reload them onto a flatbed, like a rollback, and then we bring them up, and then we re-unload them again.
Oh, that's not too bad.
So it's not too crazy. So right here we have our grinding area. We have a little Chevalier automatic surface grinder, a little KO Lee, and then a Myford OD grinder, which I got this machine free from a previous place I used to work. They were going to junk it, so I took it, and me and my dad kind of rebuilt it. But I made a lot of punches for stamping presses on this machine. The KO Lee, have a diamond wheel on that, and I pretty much just use this machine for touching up tooling. Yeah, and then I have some fixtures over here for some jobs that we run, the repeat jobs that we run on the Chevalier.
Is this new to you, or do you guys had this?
I've had it for probably around 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
I think it'll do about 13 inches, hydraulic fed, tense on the dial.
That looks nice.
Pretty nice.
So when you grind, I mean, how much do you trust that if you bump a tenth, it's going to give you what you want? There?
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Okay,
it's pretty
good.
close.
I was just talking about this with Grimsmill about when you dress the wheel, whether you're using a table dresser or an overhead, if you dress a certain amount, do you just dial that in, or do you remeasure? What's your process there?
No, usually if there's quite a bit to rough on it, I'll take the majority off of it, and then I redress the wheel, come back in, kiss it, then measure, and then I take the finishing passes. Okay,
so you don't really use the dress as it's a rough estimate, but no way close to what you're going to dial in on that final.
Correct.
Do you guys have a specialty niche?
I mean, our industry is, we do some food grade.
Okay.
We do pipe industry, stamping. We have about 15 customers that we deal with that are steady customers.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's like that's like the goal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it took a while to get there.
Yeah. So when did you start kind of branching off on your own?
About 3.5, 4 years ago.
How's that been?
It was stressful at first.
Yeah.
Because I left my job, didn't know where money was going to come from.
Yeah.
Obviously, a small business, cash flow is king.
Yeah.
I don't really want to go back to working for somebody else after taking the plunge, you know what I mean? And actually, that job I was working at, they were kind enough to give me work too as well.
That's awesome. So you obviously left on good terms.
Yep.
Yeah. We've had a chance to talk to a number of different folks that run shops, and it's it's the American dream, working for yourself, building a shop, building a company. And Adam Demuth was a great example of, move on from your day job, but do it on good terms. And in these cases, your former employer is actually your first customer. That's absolutely awesome. And it also reminds me of one of the things I try to steer away from, which is don't try to start a company just because you hate or want out of your job so bad. Like, you got to kind of plan it out and figure out how you're going to get that first machine or that first space, or start building a book of business.
Right. It took a while because I was doing this at night time for myself and working in the daytime. So it takes some time to get your head around everything, what you're going to do, planning it out and such. So this is a 2018 Haas ST20.
Yep.
Just 2-axis lathe, pretty decently accurate, about 2/10.
That's what we found on ours. It'll grow a little, but once you get it up to temp, it actually holds pretty darn well.
Yeah, so in the mornings, we always recommend warming the spindles up, because that's key on this machine, is the spindle being warm.
Yeah.
because if not, you'll set up a part and it'll just walk on you until it warms up.
Yep. We'll put it in the description below, a link, but we actually found a way to read the variable that is the spindle temperature, and we wrote this a simple if statement at the beginning of the program that won't let you run the program if the spindle's not up to temp. And it's a real great way of saving yourself if you forget to warm it up, or if somebody else tries to load the program and run it, it just won't let you run it.
That's pretty interesting. Sweet. But yeah, we do some 3D printing as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, I did the 3D printed covers on the ways.
There's nothing worse than dropping a part onto these things. And I love it because if you do slide the tailstock forward, they just fall off.
Yeah, that's why I only did the 2 on each rail.
Yeah. So how does that work? Is this controllable, or do you have to move it in by hand?
No, it's controllable.
Okay, it's effectively
programmable tailstock.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Sweet. So dumb question, but do you use that with just as a center?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right here. So I use a Royal center.
Live center, obviously here.
Yep.
Got it. Funny seeing an ER in a lathe like that. That's how you hold your hold drills.
Drills, small boring bars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everything, pretty much.
How do you get the boring bar rotated correctly?
Indicated in.
Sweep it in?
Yeah, you can sweep it on the flat.
Or where do you sweep it from? You mount it on a frame, I guess?
You can bring the tool down to here. You can bring the tool here and then put the indicator up here and swing it like that. Yep.
Because right, you're indicating along the X.
Correct.
How do you, I guess, do you use a coax indicator ever? Or holding an indicator in the spindle?
Yep, use a coax.
How do you hold your coax?
My coax is actually broke, but
okay.
I machined a sleeve for the end of the coax with a set screw, and then I just chuck up on that.
What if you have the wrong size? Like right now, that's a certain diameter.
I right now just open the jaw up to 1 inch because that's what the piece is. I just reamed it, put a flat on it, drilled and tapped it, and then you put a set screw down it, and then chuck it up. You know, rotate each tool and indicate it in. The 0.
Do you think about the order of your tools in the turret?
I do. The way I have it set up right now is with drills, you're not gonna crash anything.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so when I'm turning, the drills are on the opposite side. So you're never coming close to your workpiece or your chuck. And I usually never take these tools out. The only thing that gets set up is drills and boring bars. I will switch out this threading tool occasionally, that's it. To a lay down style. I use a Sandvik.
Like a topping insert? I've never heard it called that laydown. So basically that's specific to a certain threads per inch, TPI?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, you can buy the threading inserts for what thread per inch you're gonna turn.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you haven't used these before, they're awesome because basically they cut both the crest and the root. So long as you get the diameter correct, it's gonna make a perfect thread the first time and every time.
Right.
The last time I was here, that was a TM?
Yeah, TM3P. That was the first CNC that we ever got.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a tryout machine, I guess you would call it. We didn't know if we could make a lot of money with it, so we went cheaper and bought a cheap machine, and then proved it out, and then we knew we could make money, so we stepped it up to the bigger one. This is a 2019.
And so how's it been coming from it's kind of, I mean, the TM is probably the lowest entry level, and this is probably the heaviest machine from Haas in this class.
Yeah, I like it a lot better. Yeah. It's night and day.
But we get this question from folks, and buy what you can afford, buy what you need to do the job. Don't buy a Ferrari if you're just, if you need an Accord. But tell me about that process of thinking about the TM. Do you wish you had bought this sooner, or? Yes
and no. I guess I bought the TM for the type of work we were doing at the time. It met the needs. Yeah. I got the TM3P because of the travels.
Yeah. It's 40 by 20, right?
Yeah, 40 by 20. You can really push those machines to do a lot. Like I've stalled out the spindle and stuff on that machine.
Yeah.
But I mean, it made money, you know what I mean? Put back and save and then buy the bigger machine.
Yep. Did you think about keeping it?
I did, that was the plan, but within a day we had a buyer.
One of the best things you can do as a business owner is form your own opinions. And there's so much emotion that goes into brands and what machines to buy. At the end of the day, number one, making money is a good thing. And then number two, like the fact that you can buy a machine, own it, use it, push it, and then sell it easily is, to me, an awesome attribute to how to run a shop.
You can make a lot of money with them. You can hold good tolerances with them. And, if they break, you can get parts next day, usually. So that's a big reason why we stuck with Haas as well.
Sure. These are not tools I'm used to seeing. That and that. Those are beefy, dude.
Yeah, so that was that chain link job that we did, those big casting chain links.
Okay.
And that's another reason why we bought the machine, because we were trying to machine those chain links on a TM3P.
I don't think, unfortunately, we have any footage of these, but these were these huge steel castings, and you were basically just trying to poke these big holes in them, huh?
Yep. I did all the operations I could in the TM3P, and then we took all the castings and we took them out on the boring mill.
Oh, the Lucas?
Yeah, the Lucas, and then we reset them up in a fixture.
Got it.
And then we drilled them and then reamed them.
That's the pre-ream drill, and then you go right from that to the reamer?
Correct.
How is tool life on a reamer like that and that casting?
On the reamer, I had no wear on it. I mean, I did hundreds of those castings.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And I mean, if you look at the tool, it's still like brand new.
Do you ever try to touch up edges on your own?
No, because then you're going to change the size, the overall diameter.
Right.
I would just buy a new one. These things are so cheap, it'd just be worth buying a new one.
Yeah. If you have a job where you need a tool that you don't already have, do you think about trying to recover that cost or build it into the quote? You know, balancing that you want to make money but also be competitive.
So, I mean, when you're quoting the job, you look at the job, look at the tools you need, time, material, all that stuff. You can always use a tool that you buy that might be a little expensive for that job for another job down the road. You can get that cost back in hidden areas that you might not think.
That makes sense. So you think on the next job, even though you don't have to buy the tool, you still build in a form of cost in how you quote it.
Correct.
Got it. And in terms of quoting, is it just you, or you guys have help on machining side or quoting side?
I usually quote a lot of the machining. My dad takes care of a lot of the fabrication quoting.
Okay.
We are two different businesses here, but we basically share work and do work together.
Family businesses can be tough.
We can, but we make it work. We're a pretty good team. So,
That's good.
Yep.
So he really is, I mean, I know there's some machine equipment on that side of the bay, but there's also a lot of the fabs over there. So is it kind of a one bay, two bay thing?
No.
Okay.
We just use this bay out here for a lot of the dirtier work, like fabrication. This is basically our clean area, and if we have to, we can shut the overhead door.
Yeah.
In the early 90s, my dad built this building, but we've done 2 add-ons, basically.
Oh, yeah?
This room right here was the only machine shop. Out in that part of the shop, believe it or not, we actually had horses, and there was horse stables out there.
Okay.
We redid that, turned it in a little bit, and then we ran out of room again. And then when you walk in, we built that one. We built that out on 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, so it's around like 6,600 square feet.
It's a good size for a shop. Do you program each vise as its own offset then?
Yeah. So G54 through G57.
And do those usually live on the machine, or are you swapping out stuff a lot?
I swap stuff in and out all the time.
Oh yeah. Just in the jaws, or actually in the vices, or the whole vices?
Everything.
Oh really?
Yeah, one day all the vices might be on the machine, one day they're all off. These are actually the parts we're machining, cold roll, using helical tools, chamfer and mill.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Those were great.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
Good finishes though.
Are you surfacing that, or is that a
No,
rounder?
So what I do is, I'll show you here. We made jaws for the CNC lathe.
Sneaky, okay.
So we do op 1, flip it, op 2.
Okay.
And then we put it in these jaws here.
Yeah.
And then we do op 1 and op 2.
Okay, 4 at a time then.
Yep, so four go in and 4 come off, done.
Yep.
Every time.
Awesome. Oh, interesting. There's just carb smarts on the back. That's an awesome tip, is don't overcomplicate it. You can get by with custom jaws or soft jaws just on one side. It's half the work.
Yeah, and then I do a dowel pin locator. So these are always perfect, your squareness comes out really square.
Good amount of manual machines.
Yeah.
No? Yeah? You use them?
Oh yeah, I use pretty much everything in here, yep.
No kidding.
So if we have like some bigger stuff that we need to just hog down, we put it on the Lagoon because it's just so massive.
Yeah.
You can really take some big cuts in this thing.
Holy cow.
Just kind of rough square some stuff in. That face mill just basically lives in this machine. We really don't change it out.
That's nice then.
Yeah. I think it's a straight shank, to be honest.
Huh.
We have the A-Trump, knee mills, and we like these machines because they're a box away style.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I was noticing that over on the Lucas, the boring mill, and it's something I think if you're new to machining, you may not appreciate, but there's a big difference in the rigidity from a dovetail like you traditionally see on a Bridgeport and stepping into a box way.
It's just night and day with these
Is that right?
with these machines, yeah. I'd rather have the box way all day long.
Do you ever have to mess with the gibs or adjust it?
These machines are newer, so I mean, probably 30 years of use, yeah.
Okay, but no, it's not something like every 2
No,
months you're just
no.
sitting there messing with a shim.
No. This machine here is actually a 40 taper. You see the quill on it?
Yeah, look at that.
And it is actually called NMTB40.
Oh, it's not a Cat 40.
No,
Interesting.
which it uses a threaded.
Interesting. Doesn't have a pull set on it.
Yep, just like an R8.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's a great comparison. Stepping over to a traditional dovetail machine where you've got the angle and a gib that's tapered compared to, again, the boxway where you've got more surface area contact and just a lot more rigidity.
Yeah, if you're looking for a machine, it's definitely the way to go on a manual machine. We have a couple small lathes over here. We have a good way. Keep this collet chuck on here
Yeah.
for just doing quick work.
Is that a chuck on a chuck?
Yep, chuck on a chuck, and then you just use a chuck key for the collet.
And that's 5C, you said?
Yep.
Yeah.
Then we have this little Clausing Matosa. It's an Italian machine, made machine. I actually bought this off my old the place I used to work as well. This is our Harrison. It'll do about 23 inches on the swing, about 7 foot long on
Holy cow, yeah.
total in between centers.
Yeah, look at the size of the Aloris. It's a large DA. Woo.
You can see I use some of the Sandvik boring bars.
Oh, that's got the modular head on it.
Yep. Yeah, I love this thing in here. I can take some monster bore cuts.
Really?
Yeah. But you can see how big these centers are. Yeah, it's massive.
Holy cow, look at that. What more taper's that?
I think it's a 6. And this is how we put our trucks on. We use the
Oh, look
sky
at
hook.
this. Oh, that's great.
We made the cart. It's actually for the Aloris taper.
No way.
Yeah, and then we machined this to put on here.
Yeah.
And then we made a boom so we can raise and lower this.
It's awesome. Yeah, we added some of these for our 6s to load stuff on, and I wouldn't say I was hesitant. I knew it was the right solution, but once you get it in there, you'll never go back.
Yeah,
Holy
I know.
cow. This is slick.
I actually put the 4th axis in this machine too as well with this.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I use it for the lathe and the mill. The HRT 210 with a 6 jaw.
Yeah, that's not fun to lift unless you've got a hoist.
And then we keep gauge pens and a little deburring area back here. I don't know if you ever used one of these before. These little mini belt sanders.
No way.
Yeah, these things are awesome.
Look at that.
Yep. Take the belt off.
And it's just electric?
Yep.
Can you turn it on? Oh, that is slick.
You can
Variable
speed. You
No
can,
kidding.
Yeah, you can also add a Dremel as well to it. I use this for a lot of deburring. Actually, the parts for machining right now, I use this to deburr those parts.
Love it.
We're on well water,
Yeah, so that's brutal.
so we're using this RODI system.
It looks similar to like what you see for the aquarium.
Yep,
world? Okay.
yep. It's 300 gallon a day.
Holy cow. Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's got the booster pump on it.
Okay.
Basically, I don't have a holding tank, so I don't want to wait on water.
Got it.
So I can make water really quick here.
Got it.
Got the built-in TDS meter.
Yeah, that's super nice to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've heard people talk about putting water softeners in ahead of the RO to help.
That's what I did.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, so I have a water softener up here.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Okay.
Into holding tank.
Oh, perfect. Okay, you do have a. Okay,
Holding
that's
tank.
the bladder.
Yep. And
Cool.
it's filtered. Then it goes to another filter.
Okay.
And then it comes down through the RODI system.
And then what's the output?
What I'll do is I'll put a plastic.
Oh,
like
you just do top off fills.
Yeah,
Got it.
I usually do 5 gallons
sure,
at a time, top off. Unless I'm doing all new coolant change.
Yeah. What's next? What keeps you up at night? What do you like? What do you wish you had?
I'd like to get into 5-axis machining.
I'm not going to discourage you. It's great.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Like a Duo 1500 or something like that would be like great, because I'd like to have another 3-axis as well. And that's kind of the best of 2 worlds. So I don't know, we'll just have to see.
Any lessons learned or options that you did get or didn't wish you hadn't gotten on these machines?
So this machine's pretty much fully loaded.
Got it.
So I got pretty much everything with this one. I learned from the TM3P on that one. On the TM, I had the umbrella carousel. I only got 10 tools. I wish I would have got to 20.
Yep.
So that was a lesson learned.
Yep.
Didn't get high-speed machining with the first machine.
Yep.
So tool paths were a little laggier.
Could you run adaptives out of Fusion?
I could.
Okay, but it just was slow.
Yeah, it was slower.
That's not such a big deal because it's just a software unlock.
Right.
It's not necessarily like the tool changer. You can't go from a 10 to a 20
Right.
after the machine survived.
Well, you The Haas Tech said you could.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can,
Interesting.
but you know you're gonna have all that labor cost unless you did it yourself. So,
Software unlock is write a painful check and then they just give you a code and you're good.
right, it's better to just however you're purchasing the machine, finance it in there.
Yeah.
You're already making a payment, so a little more is usually not going to kill anything.
Yep. Well, any words of advice for somebody out there who's young, who's working, but wants to think about starting out on their own?
Be prepared to work day and night.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot of, in the beginning, it's a lot of hours.
I see. Are you still feel like you're working at an unsustainable pace, or is it a little bit better work-life balance now?
It's a job shop, so if work comes in, you're working 7 days a week. You know, it's either there or it's not.
Yeah.
The quantities of work,
Yeah,
and it can change overnight too. So
yeah. Has business been good?
yeah,
That's
been really good.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So
Good
through
for
this
you.
whole thing, it's been good for us.
Yeah, 2020 has been a weird year, but luckily it seems to be,
Yep.
yeah,
Economy seems like it's still pretty good. So
awesome.
been,
And we were able to film some B-roll at the beginning. You guys built that machine down there, huh?
yeah, full automated machine for food grade industry,
It's awesome. Ground up, huh?
ground up the whole entire machine.
That's really cool. We can't show too much of it, but I mean, it's kind of why I think manufacturing is so cool. Is it's it's PLCs, it's automation, it's hydraulics, it's linkages, it's fabrication, it's machining, it's tolerances. It's like delivering. You're basically delivering a turnkey functional thing, right?
Turnkey package,
Yeah.
straight to the customer.
That is awesome.
Yep.
That is absolutely awesome. Well, Nate, thanks for the tour, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
Hey, folks. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed. Take care. See you soon.